the Buffalo Fitness Expo Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, my fitness bros and gals, welcome back to another episode of the Buffalo Fitness Expo Podcast. I'm your host, Romer, the Dominican Rock Mendez, and I'm here with a very, very special guest here today, Mrs. Kerry Champlin.
Hi!
Kerry, what's going on? How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Now, I have a question for you.
Uh-oh.
This is probably the number one question that I got asked when I put the status up, asking for questions. Will you be competing at the Defect Buffalo Natural Fall Fest this year? Dun, dun.
Answer: no, I'm not.
No. Okay.
Sorry.
And why is that?
You know what? I've taken a little time away from competing in the bodybuilding world. I'm actually back in the pageant scene. I'm actually a reigning 2016 International Miss New York.
Wow.
And I like to kind of now stay more behind the scenes at the bodybuilding shows. So I'm Bikini Mom. I'm your backstage supporter for all the girls.
Now, you do a lot of posing for a lot of the girls here in the Buffalo area, correct?
I do.
So tell us about that. How did you get into posing, and what made you do that?
Great question. Thank you. Long story short, I was one of the first bikini competitors in the area. I mean, I started when bikini was fresh. We had suits off the rack from Kaufman's. Yes, Kaufman's. If anyone remembers Kaufman's, it's now Macy's, so I'm aging myself. We wore off the rack suits. We went on stage. We faced the front. We faced the back. That was it. So it was kind of a figure pose. We didn't know what we were doing. Nothing was regulated yet. From the suits to the posing, we kind of figured it out. So I actually hooked up with a figure competitor, Michelle Nalon. One of the judges at the Buffalo steered me in the right direction. I hired her, and together we formulated how to pose and walk for bikini. So my background is in pageantry and in modeling. I used to do a lot of runway and fashion shows. So between her experience on stage, my experience in that field, we kind of branded ourselves together, and that's what I teach my girls. So it's a very sophisticated, classy presentation that I give the girls on stage. It's all about presenting yourself in a demeanor that doesn't put down the bikini division.
Oh, I do like that. Especially you can tell when someone's on stage in bikini and they're your competitor, your girl, because the posing is definitely always on point. But you mentioned you competed before, so tell us about that, your competition history. You were Mrs. Buffalo Bikini, correct?
Yeah, I was Miss Buffalo Bikini.
What year was that?
2000. It was 10 or 11. I think 2011. Yeah, I think so. I'll have to look at my trophy. I think it's 2011. I started competing. Yeah, I started competing in 2010. So I did my first couple shows, and I did it on a whim. I mean, I went to Stokes Fitness Boot Camp. My sister made me go. She's like, come work out with me at 6 a.m.
Huge shout out to Terry Stokes.
Terry Stokes. So she made me work out. I didn't do anything in my life. I mean, I ate Cheetos and Diet Coke. Went to boot camp. Terry says, you should do a show. I go, no, I'm okay. I don't want to. I don't want to look like a man. Biggest misconception in bodybuilding. I don't want to look like a man. And he told me about the Buffalo, and there's a bikini division. I thought, well, what is it? He goes, it's like a pageant. Bikini pageant. I go, okay, I'm sold. So it was a week out. I just started working out. Luckily, I was young, so metabolism was high, and genetics didn't kick in yet.
How old are you now?
I'm 31.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm retired now. But I did my first show. I won first in my class, and I was hooked. I did 5 more shows that season, and I have done over 20 shows total. So I have my pro card in the States with the NMA. I have a pro card in Canada. I was ranked 8th nationally in the NPC, and my last show for bikini was 3 years ago, and I did the Arnold Classic. And then I switched to figure. Yeah. And then that was it. So
tell us about that figure. There was a famous story I've heard that you weren't competing, and then all of a sudden someone convinced you to do a figure show, and you said, okay, I'll do a figure show. So tell us about that.
I was at the Arnold. So we just got done. Terry, Jessica, myself, a couple other supporters that came to watch. I think we were at the Longhorn Steakhouse, whatever restaurant that is, and actually leaned back like this, sitting on the chair, and was probably making some joke or some comment. And Terry looks at me. He's like, where did those come from? Because I've always hid my shoulders, my lats. I was a swimmer, so I was always bigger on my upper body. And I go, I know what you're talking about. I don't have those. I'm smaller. And he's like, you should do figure. I'm like, no, I'm okay. And he's like, you're going to do figure. So we got home and I took a couple weeks off from training and dieting. And then finally we're like, you know what? Let's just show up. I'll train for 2 more months. We're going to make this a covert operation. I didn't tell anyone. I had just started making swimsuits and I basically showed up, tan, makeup, had a suit on that I made to kind of launch my business. And I kept my sweats on and everyone's staring like, oh my gosh, but she already won bikini. Why is Kerry Champlin here? And I kept my headphones on. I didn't talk to anyone. I was real. I was just focused. So then we're going back to get oiled and tanned and whatnot. And I take the robe off and everyone just stares. And they're like, she has a figure suit on. Because they're asking, what color suit? I'm like, you'll see. You'll see. Because I don't want anyone to know that I was doing figure. So everyone thought I'm showing up to do bikini again. And really I was doing figure. So the warm-up came off, went on stage. And of course, mechanically, I'm so used to doing bikini. So it was bikini walk. And it was probably a little too sassy then for figure. But I went on, actually won my class, but I didn't win overall.
Oh, I do remember seeing you on stage. I remember seeing you backstage and thinking, oh, Kerry's back for bikini. And it's like, oh, wait, she's doing figure.
Yeah, I just, I trained for so long for the Arnold. And, I took a year of training to really put on muscle, put on size. I was always very petite for bikini. These girls were former figure competitors who, they have bigger legs, bigger shoulders. In the NPC now, they're a little bigger all around. And I was a whopping 96 pounds, I think, when I was competing in bikini. So I, took a year, put on some muscle, put on some weight to really come in strong. And then we just made the transition from bikini to figure.
Wow. And Kerry, so tell us, so you have an event coming up next week, right?
I do.
Tell us about that.
So as I mentioned before, I'm the 2016 International Miss New York, and I am competing for the overall title of Miss International this September, 4th through the 7th in New York City. So I'm holding a fundraiser next week at Belcito on Hurdle.
What day is it?
It is August 3rd from 6 to 9. It's Belcito. It's on the corner of Saranac and Hurdle. My good friends own the restaurant. It's awesome. There's a nice little nook in the back. It's a Chinese and silent auction. So I have different baskets, gift cards, autographed items from professional athletes and paintings. So we have a lot of good stuff. So it's to help me not only get to New York, but it also is a benefit for medical research for dystonia. So that is kind of a little platform that I help being an advocate for. There's a toss for dystonia. It is a huge cornhole tournament at Riverworks at end of September. So I am taking a portion of the proceeds and all ticket sales are going right to the toss for dystonia.
I always say that, if you want something in life, it's always better to give back. Mm-hmm. I feel like whenever you give back and whenever you have that mindset of, it's not going to be about me, but I'm going to find something or either a person or group or situation to give back, it'll be better overall. And I think that's a good thing that what you're doing. So tell us about the whole transition from competing to doing pageants. Or did you do pageants before competing?
Yeah, I started doing pageants when I was younger. Took a break throughout high school, and then after high school, I got back into the whole scene again. So it was, it was different. It's nothing like bodybuilding. Of course, there is a swimsuit division, and just to show your confidence and your poise and your personality, and really show who you are outside of the evening gown. Outside of interview, it kind of shows how well-rounded you are altogether. So, of course, yes, I'm prepping, if you will, right now. So I'm saying I'm a diet and kind of back on that lifestyle change, just to show that I'm healthy, I exercise, I care about my health and my body. But the pageant is more based on who you are as an individual. And this pageant's great because it's women of elegance and enterprise. And being an entrepreneur, that's really where my angle is becoming an entrepreneur and showing other young individuals, how they can make their dreams come true. So bodybuilding has nothing to do with any of that except for the health and wellness side. I switched to bodybuilding really on a whim. Terry's the one that I was sitting there doing dumbbell girls. Joking around, maybe doing a crunch every now and then, not really paying attention. And, it's just genetics. I had the proportion. I was always very athletic growing up. I did a lot of sports. So I had the build for it. And bikini just came out. So it kind of it happened. He's like, go on stage and pretend you're in a pageant, you're in a fashion show, and we're going to wing it. And I fell in love. I liked the structure. I like the discipline. I think that's where they really go hand in hand. You know, I'm on a mission for both. I'm either on a mission for being an advocate, you know, for either entrepreneurs or different funding in the area, you know, different organizations. That's just Estonia. I did a little fundraising for Alzheimer's a couple years ago. So I like to, like I said, always give back. What you put in, you get back in life. Whereas bodybuilding, I have the structure and I'm on a mission, you know, to better myself physically. It's a challenge. You know, the science behind it is amazing. Seeing your body change just by the foods you eat. I'm a huge science nerd. So the nutrition part really intrigued me, you know, going through it. You know, every 3 hours I'd take a picture and, you know, see how different I look that day before the show. And it's neat.
So maybe talk to us about comparing both preps. I know obviously competing for either bikini or a figure competition, the hardest part isn't the physical part, but it's a mental part. The mental aspect of thinking you're not ready. I'm not going to be ready. I'm not going to do this. So how different is it competing at a pageant and doing bikini? Do you get the same exact mental struggles?
I mean, you just need the drive, the motivation, the focus. I mean, my last show was 2013. I did another pageant in 2015, but I took that 2 years of not touching a weight, not eating anything healthy. I was pizza queen for the past couple years. So getting that drive back where I want to wake up at 5, I'm going to do my cardio, I'm going to go to boot camp, I'm going to prep my meals. It was tough. It was a lot of work. The body types are different. You know, they're not looking for muscle tone and abs. They just want to see a healthy body with pageantry. Versus bodybuilding, we're looking for proportion, symmetry. There's a lot more factors from the judge's point of view. You know, I could be in a one-piece bathing suit. They're okay with that. Bodybuilding, you're being judged on your physical image. Pageantry, I'm being judged on who I am as an individual and what I do personally and give back to the community. So prep-wise, it's a mental challenge both ways, and it's completely different. I mean, when I'm getting ready for a bodybuilding show, I think I'm much more disciplined and I'm much more focused, obviously, on the physical aspect. Whereas pageantry, I'm working more on self-improvement. What I'm going to present to the judges, that package. And not as heavy training. You know, I'm getting my workouts in. It's not as strict as a diet. I'm definitely much more flexible. I cheat a little more. I'll have my glass of wine at night. So it's not as disciplined in the physical sense than it is in mental. But they're both exhausting. They're both exhausting. They're very much the same, but they're very much different in their different aspects.
It's definitely good to hear, especially that other side of the different perspective on. I know we're always used to hearing the side of competing, you know, what people go through, but it's different hearing the other side of pageantry. What is that you say, pageantry?
Pageantry. Yes.
Pageantry. There you go. Wow, look at that. I got it right.
You got it down.
Yeah. Kerry, you mentioned you're an entrepreneur with your bikini business. Tell us about that.
So I am the owner, designer of Bikini Effects custom competition swimwear. I started my business 3 years ago. Basically, I would go on stage and I would have 2 other girls in the exact same custom suit that we got online. Like I said, when I competed, we didn't have sanctioned bathing suits. There wasn't that cookie cutter NPC suit that you had to wear. So, you know, like I said, I went to Kaufman's. Finally, they had a bathing suit and the 3 of us all had the same suit. And I remember Terry, to this day, going, "Do you bring a backup suit?" I go, "No, I'm going out there, I'm going to win it. So I don't care what I look like, I'm taking it. So I'm going to make everyone else feel really uncomfortable right now that we all have the same suit on." He was like, "God help us all." But, you know, went on there and I did my thing with my posing, my presentation, and, you know, the suits, they matter because they got to make you feel good. You know, it's emotion. It's a mental game right there. You want to feel good. The suits like that wow factor, you know, that wow factor, the wow factor.
Wow.
You know, so you can feel good. And I love when girls come over and they're like, "Okay, this is it. I'm doing a show." So that having the 2 girls where there's 3 of us having the same suit was kind of like, okay, there's something that I have to do. I've been sewing since I was 8 years old. After that show, I actually went and competed in Toronto. I met a woman there in Toronto and she made custom suits. I would go to Toronto every single weekend and just hang out with her. I just thought it was the coolest thing.
And who was that? What's her name?
Her name is Lisa, and she owns Sexy Effects swimwear. So that's where I kind of branched off. Bikini Effects as kind of like a child company of hers, to start. She was well known. Her work was beautiful. She ended up having a couple injuries, and she couldn't even cut fabric. So when I was there, I told her, hey, I've been sewing for 20 plus years. Why don't I help you? Let me help you make the suits. You can keep your business and, do what you're doing. So I basically went there almost every weekend for about a year. And it was kind of her apprentice. And I just learned what she did, how to use her machines. I'm used to a handheld portable Singer machine, where now I have 3 industrial commercial grade sewing machines in my house.
Wow.
So, one day she dropped the bomb. She's like, hey, I'm selling everything. And I had a heart attack. I go, what do you mean? How am I going to sew the suits? And she's like, well, I'm going to sell it. I go, give me a price. And I kind of looked at her like a deer in headlights. Like, I don't think I can ever afford that. And I got a loan, rented a U-Haul, drove to Toronto, packed up the U-Haul with fabric and thread and sewing machines and every little thing that you need possibly to create a suit. I brought it back. I emptied out everything in my apartment, all of my furniture, and I moved everything in. So I'm literally living in a sweatshop, and it's the best experience ever. I love it. And so that's how I brought it back, and I get all my business by word of mouth, but you come for the experience. The best thing is when you get that suit, you have your hands on your suit, that's the light bulb moment that you have competing. You're doing this. Like, you're putting on this creation, and you're going to go on stage and just give it your all. So it's really to motivate the girl.
Having a proper bikini, it is important, especially, like I said, with confidence. Mostly in bikini, but when someone's competing, as a judge, one of the things that I look for is confidence. Mm-hmm. And if that person's up there, that girl's up there and has a good bikini and she feels good, you can tell. As a judge, you can tell.
Absolutely.
And a bikini does matter, especially in the look of the competitor. It does matter what type of bikini you get. I know I usually send, people that talk to me about bikini, I usually send them to you. So definitely we'll link her description on here so you guys can see where to contact Kerry.
Yeah, and to touch on that judging aspect with the bathing suit, you hear people, oh, it doesn't matter, but at the end of the day, it's aesthetics. And if you have a suit that doesn't fit you properly, your suit's falling off because it wasn't made right, or it was too big, or it wasn't fitted in that final weeks before. You don't feel okay. I've seen girls where the strap broke on stage. They're grabbing their strap and they're running off stage. Or the butt of the suit is maybe too baggy or too small, where it's hugging them the wrong way. Or the cup size. I think that's the biggest, misconception is, these girls, they think they're gonna lose their upper body, and then you may not, but that's why you want to make sure that you have a proper fit. Make sure that the cup size does look proportioned to your body, so you're not going on with 2 huge triangles covering the majority of your chest. So I think that the fit is just so crucial to really display your physique to the judges. Sometimes they're bearing way too much, or they're covering way too much. And to me, from what I've judged, it can be distracting. Like, I'm here to see your physique and what you have to offer. And, you really want to find that right fit that looks good on you and that makes you feel good.
No, and I definitely agree with you, Kerry. I know when I judge too, those are the things I do notice sometimes. If someone doesn't have the proper bikini, and again, you can tell. And it's usually those that don't have the proper bikini, you can tell they don't have a lot of confidence. Mm-hmm. And again, going back to that confidence piece, it's big, especially for bikini. You've seen a lot of shows that, it depends on federation, but sometimes the girl with the most confidence up there will win.
Absolutely.
And I've seen it happen before. Or maybe it might be really close between 2 girls. They both look good, but the one girl doesn't have a lot of confidence, the other one does, and that one takes it.
Yeah.
And it all goes down to those little details, bikini, hair, makeup, all that.
Yeah, as a competitor, going back to the total package, you want to make sure that the moment you walk on stage to the moment you leave that stage, you have the attention of the judges, the crowd, of everyone. From head to toe, from mental to physical. You want the confidence. You want, your hair to be perfect, your skin to look perfect, your tan to be perfect, your suit, your posing. I know there's tons of times I went on stage, going back to when I did figure. I took a couple weeks off from the Arnold, and, I did it to really launch my business. I look pretty good for figure. I think I could have looked better, But what really saved me was I know how to walk, I know how to pose, I know how to present myself. So I make sure, especially when I have clients that come to me for bathing suits, to make sure I do their posing. You know, it's kind of, here's your silver platter, here's your suit, here's your posing. I want you to look like a professional on stage. I had a 16-year-old at your show, actually. I think it was a year or 2 years ago.
Yeah, it was the Defect Buffalo Natural Fall Fest. That was last October. Giuliana Cousins. Giuliana Cousins.
And
yes.
I
16 years old, and
16
she
years
looked
old.
phenomenal on
She
stage.
looked amazing, and I wanted to make sure she had a suit that was, first and foremost, age appropriate. Her parents were going to be there. I mean, I wasn't going to have her some skimpy little suit that gave everyone the wrong image of who she is in for bikini. You know, my biggest thing is the image. I want everyone to think, you know, oh, bikini, wow, what a great division, what a great physique they have. They work just as hard as everyone else. This isn't a dog and pony show, okay? I want them to look great. And for her, I had to make sure that her posing was perfect. Again, age appropriate. I wanted her to go out there and look like the girl next door. I mean, that was her first show, and she owned it. I mean, people looked at her and they're like, wait, this is her first show. She's 16. 2, she's never done this before. She looked like she's done at least 10 shows. And that's my goal with every client that comes to me. You know, I want you to look like a professional. I want you to walk out in that novice class looking like you do this for a living. You do this every weekend. You put on those high heels and get that spray tan and put on that bathing suit, and this is what you do. And you can tell who my girls are from the rest, because they all walk out there with that same demeanor. They have that confidence. You know, I don't teach them just how to stick out their butt and smile and make sure their shoulders are straight and they're symmetrical and they look, you know, good to the judges, but I want them to feel good about themselves. You know, it's starting from the inside out with them. And once they feel good emotionally, mentally, physically, that shows on stage. And I think that's the biggest factor, is owning it. You know, I don't want you to go out there and be scared. You're fun. This is an alter ego that you have, and you're going on stage and you're someone else. Own it, live up to it, do it. And that's what I, you know, basically instill in every single one of my clients. And it shows.
I remember we were about a week out of last year, and Giuliana's mom called me and said, look, I know my daughter's a teenager, but I want to make sure that she's put in a competitive class. And she's saying, well, can she be in the open and a novice? So I'm like, well, right now she's the only teen. I can put her in a novice. And I'm thinking, this girl's 16 years old. I mean, I hope she does okay. And she did amazing again.
Oh, she was great.
She won the class, and she was very close to winning the overall as well. She was up there for the running for the overall.
I was like a proud mama bear backstage and in the crowd. I was just sitting there smiling, watching her.
Definitely a bright future for her.
She looked like such a natural. And that's what you want. You want to look fluent. I tell everyone, I go, you want to be like butter on stage. I just want you to just, you know, slide right across and look real smooth and just look perfect. I mean, that's the goal. The goal is to be perfect. So I really instill that in all the girls.
So, Kerry, I know obviously just by following you online and knowing you through all these years, you are a very motivating person, you know, but who motivates you?
You know, it's my friends, it's my family, my trainer. I mean, Terry got me into the sport. I don't think I would be where I am today, honestly, without him. I mean, he makes sure, you know, do this, do that, you know, how's the business going? You know, what are some of my new ideas that we can have to really, you know, skyrocket this? You know, he's built his own business from the ground up, and he transforms women all day, every day. Same thing from inside out. So I like to kind of take that same perspective that he has and put it into, you know, my business. Terry, the man.
Shout out to Terry again. Now, we do have some fan questions.
No.
Our good friend, Rachel Glover. Shout out to Rachel as well. She has 2 questions, actually. Her first question is, and I'm quoting here, how did you get that booty so perfect? The microphone is yours.
Oh, my goodness. A lot of squats and chicken. No, it's training. I love plyos. I get bored very easily. I'm always on the go. I do 18 things at once. I'm all over the place. So to go and just get a squat rack and just squat and lift heavy, it's so boring to me. I can't do it. I'm outside doing plyos, box jumps, jump squats, any and everything. I mean, my motto is everything every day. I don't do arm day. I don't do back and buys. I don't have leg day. I hit every body part every day. And to keep me going and to get that fat burn and maintain my muscle is through those HIITs programs, through the plyos. I mean, I think that's where I really built my glutes over the year. You know, I pick one season to compete in when I was competing, and the rest I took that season off to grow and, you know, stay within a reasonable weight and stay on top of my nutrition, and so I can look better every year. It was funny, I was actually talking about that this morning. You look at a picture from the behind of the first show, which of course that's genetics. I've always had a booty, so sorry everyone. I did build it a lot, but you look at the first show I did and you look at the Arnold and it's completely different. I mean, it grew just working all the different muscles and, you know, training the glutes and the hamstrings and your quads to really develop it all the way around. I mean, it's plyos and genetics. Thanks, Mom. But yeah, it's the training. I do a different type of training. I'm not your typical squat kind of girl.
Training everything once a day, huh?
Yeah, everything every day.
Second question, again from Rachel Glover. Hi, Rachel. Question is, and I quote, how is it possible for you to stay single being such a babe?
Is it a serious question? Thanks for airing it to everyone. Yes, I'm single. You know, I'm busy. Yeah. I work all day. I work all night. I go to bed. I wake up and I repeat it. So it's not that I want to be single. I think right now I focus on my business and I just want to thrive and be the best person I can be before maybe I go ahead and meet someone. But no, I'm driven. I'm a very independent person, and maybe that's scary. I don't know, but yeah, I'm focused on the business. That's really where I'm at right now.
Good.
Rachel, you sneaky little sly dog.
And the last one, I don't have who's it from, but this one is: are you ever competing again in bikini? Are you making a comeback?
I'm sure a lot of people would love for me to say yes. And as much as I would love to get on stage, because the thrill of stepping on that stage is like no other feeling. I mean, it's a high. It's crazy, and I've loved competing, and I've done it all. But I think right now I really enjoy focusing, being backstage. You know, I'm Bikini Mom. I am everyone's support system. I'm for the guys and the girls. You know, I do make the men's posing trunks as well, which not a lot of people know that, but I make it for every single division, the suits, guys, girls, everyone. And, you know, I like being backstage, and I do the bikini bite and, you know, glue their butts and make sure that their posing's good and their hair and makeup looks great and they have the right color lip gloss on, and just pumping them up, you know, calming them down, letting them know that this is it, you did it, let's go on stage and show your hard work. So I kind of like being behind the scenes now. I think it's a little more validating than getting a trophy. You know, I loved competing. It was an awesome time in my life, but you know, I think I'm finally, everything I put into it, I'm getting back in a different way. So no, I'm not competing.
Not anytime soon, at least.
Not anytime soon.
Or not this season. Maybe 2017. Who knows?
You never know. Yeah. Maybe I'll just get real motivated one day.
Especially with your surprise preps, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, see, I'm sneaky. Yep.
Wouldn't be surprised if you showed up at the DFAC Buffalo Natural Spring Fest on April 8th. As a bodybuilder. If you showed up that day with your registration, here, Romer, I'm competing, and show up on stage. Yeah,
that's what I'd be a bodybuilder. Just wait.
You have to.
Did bikini, we did figure. I'm going for the big guns now.
Let's do it. Why not?
Absolutely. Stay tuned, everyone.
It's time to bring women's bodybuilding's back. Okay, maybe one final thing again. If you could talk about your event, you know, where do they get tickets from? How can they get tickets? And tell us a little bit about that.
So again, the fundraiser is the fundraiser for the 2016 International Miss New York, yours truly. It is August 3rd, which is next Wednesday, from 6 to 9 at Belsito. That's on Hurdle. It's across from St. Margaret's. I'm not doing pre-sale tickets. Tickets are $15 at the door. All tickets fees are going to be donated to the Toss for Dystonia again. And there's going to be a Chinese auction, silent auction. There'll be food, drinks for sale, and 50-50, and just good times, a little music, and hopefully we can raise money not only for a great cause, but for my journey to the Big Apple this September.
And we're going to be throwing in some VIP tickets for the Buffalo Fitness Expo as well.
Woohoo!
And a few other treats that we have in store for you guys.
Thank
so
you.
make sure to be there. I know that there's a lot of people from the fitness community going. So people, again, it's for a good cause, and it's also a good meetup for all the athletes in Western New York and in Buffalo. So it'll be a good thing.
A really great event. I'm looking forward to it. We've had a lot of great vendors, gift cards, baskets, the silent auction items. Like I said, I have some signed items from professional athletes and jewelry for the girls. And so we cater to everyone. My tattoo artist even gave a couple gift cards. So it's for everyone. It's not just for athletes, not just for my friends and family. I mean, it's for everyone in the community. So come down, support, and just enjoy yourselves.
Gary, one last thing. If you can tell us how people can get in contact with you, either if they want help for posing or if they need a suit. What's the best way to contact you?
All right. I tell everyone to email me for an appointment. I live through my phone. So I check my email probably every 10 seconds. So to email me, it's Bikini Effects. So it's BIKINI FX.
You guys will see it right here, right now.
At gmail.com. Or you can inbox me on Facebook. Message me. We do have Bikini Effects Custom Competition Swimwear Facebook page. But honestly, the best way is to email me, and I will get back to you as soon as I can.
There you go. Well, Kerry, again, thank you very much for today. It was amazing talking to you. Obviously, I know we're friends, but it's amazing just hearing your story out there and seeing, again, the different side of things. And looking forward to having you on soon and looking forward to seeing you at the event next week. It's going to be fun. And like you said, it's for a good cause.
Yeah.
So we'll definitely all have a good time, and knowing that what we're doing, it's good. It's gonna make a difference.
Thank you. I had a great time.
There you go, guys. Again, remember, make sure to share them. If you like this video, share it. If you're listening to it on either iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, or what else are we on? Or Podomatic, make sure, again, you give us a thumbs up. If you're on Facebook as well, subscribe. If you're on Facebook, also subscribe. So Facebook and YouTube, everything, subscribe, share, and like. And let us know what you guys want to see next.
Yeah, share and like.
There you go. Share and like, share and like. I'll see you guys next week. Again, Roman Mendez with Kerry Champlin for the Buffalo Fitness Expo Podcast. Again, Buffalo Fitness Expo, September 10th, 2016 at the Buffalo Convention Center. See you guys soon. Bye.
Bye, guys.
On September 10th, 2016, the biggest fitness event comes to Buffalo, New York. Amateur Natural Bodybuilding. The FAC Buffalo Natural Fall Fest. Pro Men and Pro Figure. The FAC Clash of Pro Champions, USPA New York State Powerlifting Championships, USA New York State Olympic Lifting Championships, CrossFit, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Buffalo, New York. Are you ready? On September 10th, 2016, you are invited to attend the first ever Buffalo Fitness Expo, the largest convention center in Western New York. The Buffalo Niagara Convention Center, over 110,000 square feet, over 20 fitness competitions, over 300 fitness vendors, over 20,000 spectators. Get your tickets now at buffalofitnessexpo.eventbrite.com.
Her Lisa.
I always talk about, when say, I forgot. But watch the video. This whole part, I'm gonna cut it off and make it look so seamless.
Just
so like boom.
transition it right in.
Yeah. So